I'm spending more time on my podcast than I am on my novel.
Right.
And when I realize that I'm spending more hours editing than I am writing, I'm like, ooh, nope, that's not okay.
Exactly. I think that's one of the things with part of why I'm actually starting to take a look more at doing more ASL readings of my verse then and just doing that, because what I found out is that, oh my God, the world is a noisy place. And if you go trying to do a lot of these recordings with your fellow authors or anything else like that, it's like there's no shortage of noise is off. I said noise is off. And it's like, okay, oh, look, it's like, this is the perfect take. This is my wonderful interview. And now the plane flies over.
Yeah.
Boy, Macarena. You can edit this out eventually, of course, or else pop it into the outtakes, but you never close your eyes anymore. Nah, never really did learn the rest of that song here, so, oh well, never mind. To be or not to be, that is the question. So here we are, talking to the invisible Jude, as we wonder, will she reappear in this chair? Questions of the cosmos.
Okay.
Yeah,
with all the red, it doesn't look that green on mine, but
it looks super green on mine, I hope. But either way, for those of you participating in the home game here, it's like this is a wonderfully light green beverage. Then it's like my colleagues and I discovered it some time ago while we were doing community building out in North Minneapolis, and we had a number of the Polish immigrants out there keyed us into that, where they were saying, it's like, what are you drinking? And it's like, well, this time around, we're just having some vodka here. It's like, no. It's like, have you tried Bison grass vodka? And I'm going, it's like, no, why? It's like, and they explain it to me that in a particular prairie, I suppose, out over in Europe, there's a area where the bison eat only one particular type of grass out there, and that the locals had actually decided to incorporate this into their vodka distillery process. And the result is this bison grass vodka, which, as you'll find out as you start to taste it, has its very own unique flavor and composition. Now, mind you, when I was coming up through the ranks, then I had someone who pulled me aside and tried to explain to me what the principles of a good vodka are. And they were saying that everyone seems to think it's about the taste. And in fact, they were convinced that it was about the texture, that a good vodka goes down slippery. That's your mark of it. Well, cheers, and let's take a first sip.
Yeah. It's very tasty. It's got this lovely sweetness to it. Very smooth.
See here, whether you pass it on to someone else or if you finish off a whole bottle within a week or so. I don't recommend finishing it all off in one night here. But,
oh no.
Oh no.
It is vodka. It's 40%, 80 proof.
This will clean out your system here and get you a little bit of clarity, I suspect. But
I know you just got done with a road trip. You went up to Maine and other places. Love to hear about those and your poetry adventures.
Okay, well, that's great. It's like, see, this has been part of the ongoing process, which is to say that in the aftermath of a pandemic, or perhaps even well before, I'd been taken on a journey that, for lack of a better term, we've called the Laoddysey. Then, it's like, and just traveling all across the United States and parts unknown, then to discover where we were as now refugees in the aftermath of the Vietnam War and the Civil War for Laos, which ended in 1975. These are the types of things that I'm always looking at in my collection before we remember we dream, and.
Do you want to repeat?
And many. Well, and so that is my puppies interrupters, who will apparently be chiming in at different points than where they are determined to weigh in. But yes, this is really important for you to know. You know, I think we had one period where we were apparently governed by a mad queen, for example, which could be just simply, you know, regional misogyny at its best. And she probably wasn't any more terrible than any of the other typical despots of her era here. But I'm not going to go into the sordid history about that. But the constant artist question for any writer, right? Which is that, do you want to be popular? Do you want to be popular in your era? Right? It's like, or have a masses asses, and that, you know, do you want to create, you know, it's like, no, do you want to have your art, you know, do you want to be creating art dictated by a sense of mob rule? But I'll only create art with the guarantee that it will sell well. I agree with one poet who said, if you don't have to write poetry, for heaven's sake, don't. That's like, but the whole thing about what makes art wonderful is that it's the only profession that really has this deep tolerance and, in fact, this love, this need, this embrace for failure, for risk,